Hey everybody, Sinister Lex here. In this video we're answering the question, when and how should you fire a client? We're gonna keep this one short, simple, easy, squeezy, breezy, alright, butterfly? The when and how of firing a client. So I was thinking about this today because I just had to fire a client and I know that some of you have probably been in similar situations. So first of all, I want to make this very clear. I'm not talking about long-term clients. I'm talking about short-term clients you've just started working with. If you have a long-term client, you have to decide whether you want to grin and bear it and continue working with them, how you want to fire them, the repercussions of doing so. You always have to consider the repercussions a little bit, I suppose, but it's less impactful whenever you just started working with these people. So anytime I have to fire a client, it's almost always at the beginning of our contract, of our project, of us working together. And some of you aren't willing to do this. I know that. It's a tough decision to make. Most freelancers, here's the mentality. And I had this mentality when I started, and I eventually moved away from it completely. The mentality was, oh shit, I need this. He's giving me money, therefore I just need to grin and bear it and get through it. The problem with that is it is really, really frustrating, especially if they're not a fit for you. If that's the reason you're having trouble with them, then that is really frustrating, and it's going to make you miserable as fuck whenever you're trying to do this work. You're going to get to points where you almost can't even get online and start their project because it makes you so miserable working with them, or you know that they're going to ask you for 1,000,000 adjustments and that it's just going to be like you end up getting treated like an employee. You end up getting treated like you don't know anything about the stuff that you're doing, that they hired you to do, like stuff like that. That's a problem. So the when and how of firing a client, the when is going to be within 1 to 3 days, almost always within the first week. It's not going to be an ongoing client. This is my process. I fire within a week if I find out they're not a fit for me. So if a client is you usually know, before you get hired, you have that gut feeling if this person's not the kind of person that you like. But sometimes you just say, screw that feeling, I'm gonna try it anyway. And every single time you ignore that feeling, it sucks. And you're gonna end up with these shitty clients that aren't a fit for you. So I do that sometimes. Sometimes they pull one over on me, and old Sinister Lex is like, shit, I got stuck with this guy or this girl or whoever that is not a fit for me. 1 to 3 days, within a week preferably. Preferably within 1 to 3 days, but always within a week. You want to fire them within that first week of that project and as early as possible because it minimizes the damage all around. The how. Let's talk about the how. So what happens? If we're doing 1 to 3 days, I haven't done that much work yet, and you probably haven't either. I've probably written a page or two of copy, not sure how much yet, but what I do is I just refund their money. That's the first thing. If they breach the contract, I might let them know. It just depends on how blatantly they breach our contract, if we have one. But other stuff, if they're just not a fit, if I feel like they're asking me for crazy shit, I want more NLP techniques in the copy. If you're saying that stuff to me and I'm writing something that I know is for your industry is going to work, that would be something that would make you not a fit for me. So it's going to be early in the project. You want to do it as soon as possible to minimize the damage. Refund their money, or at least this is what I do. You can do it however you want. I refund their money, and then I send them a message saying, hi X, I refunded your money. I've decided not to move forward with this project. Sincerely, Lex. Something like that. And then I end all communication after that. I send one message. I do not tell them why. I don't feel like I have to because we don't have a real relationship going yet. I'm not connected to you really deeply. We are not a part of each other's world. We're just two people who were coming together to work together, but then one of those people was totally not a fit for the other person, so we're parting ways. So I send that, and the reason I don't send an explanation, guys. I want you to know that there's a reason, because a lot of people think you need to explain why you're firing someone. If you have been working with this person for 10 months and they're a $100,000 client or something like that, you definitely need to probably explain to them what's going on, why you're leaving, and probably find a referral or a replacement to replace you. But if it's 1 to 3 days, if it's that first week, you're in the first project, I don't think you need an explanation, because no matter what happens, whether you give an explanation or you do not give an explanation, they're going to try and open a dialogue with you. And my ex-wife always tried to do this whenever I rejected her, because that's what it is, the feeling of rejection. So they want to reach out, they ask you why, or they ask you some question to pull you back in, and then from there, it blossoms into an argument or something else. And maybe they'll ask you for referrals, maybe they'll ask you to find a replacement, maybe they'll ask you to stick around for another week, All of those things lead to negative outcomes, and I'll tell you why. First of all, if they ask you for a referral and you don't like them, you're not a fit for them, well, the kind of people you would refer them to are usually just like you. These are your friends. This is your sphere of influence. So you're sending a shitty client to your friends and putting that on them. You don't want to do that because that sucks. That makes you a shitty person too. If they're asking you to finish out the week or finish out this project or whatever, a couple problems with that. First of all, if you grin and bear it and you finish the project, you're gonna write shitty copy. You're gonna provide shitty work. It's not just copy, because there's other skills out there that you guys are doing, but you're not gonna provide the quality of work that you should or that you could. And it's going to make it a miserable experience for you until you're done. So you're going to half-ass it, and then you're probably going to still get negative feedback on the other end, even though you went ahead and finished it like the client asked. So if you're on Upwork, you'll get negative feedback or less than 5 stars. That's going to suck for you. And also, they might still say bad stuff about you behind your back because you wanted to leave early in the project. So that's one problem with that. The other problem I have with them asking you to finish out the week, finish out this document, whatever, that is a gateway. Okay, if they can get you to agree one time to continue this project, then they can usually carry that forward into more stuff. Like, hey, I know you said you didn't want to continue after this, but I have this one real quick thing, and then that's what they do. That's how they carry you forward. There's a psychological experiment that was done where they asked people if they could put a billboard or something in their front yard, a huge sign promoting whatever, and the people said no. But then they were like, okay, well, can you put this small sign up promoting this thing? And then the people would say yes, they would agree to that small thing, and then later those people would agree to the big sign because they had already opened the gateway. They'd already agreed to that first step. So it's getting a foot in the door. It's called the foot in the door technique, and that's what they're doing. They're getting a foot back in the door. They're opening dialogue. If you go along with that, you might get swept up into working more and more with them and have a miserable fucking existence. That sucks. So I don't bother when it's 1 to 3 days, 1 week. I don't give them an explanation. I just say, we're parting ways. I'm not working on this project anymore, and I've refunded your money. That's all they need to know. They can go off and find a new freelancer. They have their money back. You owe them nothing, and I owe them nothing. And I block communication after that because they're going to ask why. They feel really rejected, and they want to know what they did wrong. What did I do wrong? These are always the words that they use, and I don't need to explain that. One other problem that you have, and one reason I block communications with them at this point, is that when this happens, they also usually get really frustrated. If you're not responding to them, they will send you hate mail, or even if you do respond to them, sometimes they'll send you hate mail calling you an asshole, saying all these bad things, saying stuff that might happen, whatever. Like, this has happened to me. These are actual factual freaking experiences I've had. That's why I'm warning you guys. Just block them, delete them from your contacts, have 0 contacts from them anymore. This isn't even just for firing clients. This is in general. Anytime you reject someone, you just need to get rid of them because they become like this negative energy in your inbox or in your social spheres. You can get to the point where if you fire a client where you don't even want to look at your email because you're afraid that they're going to have responded. So if you fire a client and then you respond to them or something, or even if you don't respond to them but you don't block them, their emails are still going to show up in your inbox, and it raises your heart rate. Your heart rate will increase. You have that stress, that fight or flight response, because you know something inside that email is probably really nasty. You can feel the energy coming off of it. So my recommendation, if you don't block them, is just delete the email. Don't even bother opening. Don't read what's inside it. It doesn't matter. You guys are not going to be working together anymore. Anyway, that's all my thoughts on this. I would love to know what your process is. I know people have different processes. Some people think grin and bear it and just go with it because you said X, whatever, I'm going to do this and that. But sometimes they pull the wool over your eyes. You don't know that every person's a fit until you start working with them, and then the real, the freaking wolf comes out from under the sheep's skin. So I want to know your process below. Do you grin and bear it, or are you the kind of person who would fire a client? And do you agree that 1 to 3 days, firing early on is the best? That's how I do it. Anyway, let me know down below. Subscribe down below if you want to see more, and I will see you next time.